MMAOddsBreaker. Today we're talking to Georgi Karakhanyan, getting ready to fight Bubba Jenkins, January 16th, Bellator MMA. Of course, this fight's in Pechanga, so it's not too far from you to go from training and living, what, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to get to Temecula? Is that how far it is?
Yeah, it's very close. It's about an hour, so.
Okay.
I haven't fought in California since 2011, so.
Oh, okay. Did you sell a bunch of tickets for this one?
I am getting a lot of people going, so I'm expecting about 90 people.
Oh, wow. Okay, that is a lot, especially for Pechanga. It's not a very large resort. We're not talking about a 15,000-seat arena. You know, it's a little bit smaller. So
Yeah, like 2,500.
yeah, so 90 people. I mean, if you have 90 people cheering for you, that's a huge amount of people in that crowd.
Yeah, it'd be cool, you know.
So let's go back to World Series of Fighting, Rick Glenn. That was your last fight. TKO. You hate talking about what's in the past, but I also know that you're a student of the game. So I know you've studied the tape, you've seen what went wrong, and you've already fixed it. What happened? Was it just that wasn't your night? Was there something? Were you injured coming in? Were you sick? Was there something going on at home? Like, there's always so many factors that fans forget about. We're still humans. There's other crap that goes on in our lives. Did something happen that fight, or was Rick was just better that night?
No, when I went to go for a takedown, as soon as we landed, the way we landed, his knee just went right through my ribs. So I torn my cartilage really, really bad, and I was in bad pain. I mean, when I took his back, I couldn't even breathe. That's how bad it was. And then when I went for an armbar, I couldn't even lift my hips up, because every time I would lift my hips up, it felt like something was just going into my stomach, and I couldn't breathe. So, I sucked it up. I wanted to fight the second round, see if I could, fight through it. But the pain was so strong that, I couldn't do anything. And, as a fighter, he should have smelled it and, try to knock me out or do anything to me. I mean, if I lose, I don't want to lose by decision. I want someone to finish me.
I know as a fighter, you go through this. You see, hey, I've got this guy. I took his soul. I see now the end is coming. I'm ready to close the door on you. But then now you're talking about being on the reverse. We're like, I'm injured. Rick should know this. He should know that I'm hurt. He should know that it's time to turn it on. And he didn't turn it on at all. It was almost like he was still being super cautious.
Yeah.
Is that more frustrating than anything? Is that he could have came after you and he didn't do anything at all?
Yeah, I think I might sound crazy, but I wish he would have turned it up and finished me. Then I would be like, you know what? Okay, he was better than me that night. I'm just gonna go get better. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, why would I lie? If the guy was better than me, I would say, you know what, Frank, he's better than me.
Right.
I just gotta get good at things. In the past I've lost, and one person that made me feel like I really lost was Patricio, because he really TKO'd me, and I respect that. That's why I'm going to Bellator. Not to just be your regular fighter. I'm going there to, I'm pissed off. I don't like seeing my highlights, me curling up there, and, I want to go there and whoop everyone's ass.
Well, not to mention one of the other losses to Joe Warren by decision, also in Bellator. And right now he's a champ, and that's a guy that really you match up very, very well with. I mean, you went to a decision with him the first time, and that was back in 2010. So we're talking about two different fighters now. You guys are neither one of you the same fighters at this point.
Right.
So that would be another great matchup to get again in Bellator if that could ever happen. Is you getting up there and battling him for the title if he's still got the belt. Plus the Patricio fight, of course, is another one you want to try and get back.
I think Joe dropped to 35. So
yeah, he did. He dropped down because he's trying to make a bid. He's trying to make a bid for the Olympics. Like he's trying to make a bid for to go in and wrestle Greco, because the Worlds are going to be in Las Vegas next year, and that's a big deal to have the World Championship for wrestling on our home territory, especially with all the Eastern European and former Soviet bloc countries coming over. Joe could win it at that weight class, but he did. He had to cut his weight down. But we both know being distracted in MMA with something else is not the way to do MMA. Like it's an easy way to get hurt. So
I gotta give props to Joe though, because I mean, even though he beat me, he's 36, right?
Yeah.
And he just whooped Eduardo Dantas' ass. He surprised me, and he beat him the way no one would expect him. Just wrestled the guy and just killed him with his will.
Yeah, Joe's one of those really strange guys. He makes a goal and he finds a way to reach it every single time. Like most people that make a goal, they get part of the way there and they fail a couple times, but they'll eventually get to a bigger goal. They'll finally get there or whatever. Joe gets every little goal, every medium goal, every major goal. He makes it. But he's just one of those guys that's very goal oriented and makes it happen. So He's just a weird cat like that. But let's talk about Bubba Jenkins, because you're fighting another wrestler. And this is you know, obviously it's 4 years removed, but it's a different style. But you understand that pressure and that constant heat of what the wrestlers bring. Have you watched Bubba's like last 4 fights? And how do you think he's really developed as a fighter within the last 4 fights?
Yeah, I have watched a lot of tape on him, and I watched his last 2 fights. And he has evolved, you know, and in the past I've trained with him when I was getting ready to fight Lance Palmer.
Oh, okay.
So trained for about like 3 to 4 days, and but mainly we didn't do nothing crazy. I mean, we wrestled. He gave me just a little advice. I gave him advice, and that's about it. But yeah, he has evolved. I mean, again, I'm not going in there underestimating him. I know he's a great wrestler, and I watched some of his wrestling videos, and you know, but this is mixed martial arts, so I'm going there well prepared, and I'm ready for a 3-round war.
You know, if you go back and look at your record, you know, and go back to like 2011, just looking at your victories, the guys that you beat that have names that are still doing very well. Micah Miller, Takayata, Thomas, you know, Waylon Lowe. Of course, you just mentioned Lance Palmer. Like, you've been on a pretty good winning streak, minus the Rick Glenn loss this last fight. But also, it's tough competition. You're not taking any tomato cans in there. You're not getting an easy way out. Do you find it hard sometimes to come into practice knowing that you're about to go into this is another tough fight? This is going to be a grueling, grinding kind of fight. You know, do you find it hard getting up sometimes in the morning and taking that first step to get ready for greatness?
No, man. I just get motivated. I think I fought a lot of good fighters, and I still want to continue this ride. I don't want no easy fights. I want to test myself. I mean, I want to make a good amount of money, but again, I want to test my skills, see if I could hang with these guys. And that's what I tell my manager, Mike Hogan. I said, just give me all the tough fighters. I don't want no easy way there. And I think the more pressure I have on myself, the better I perform. And, you know, this is the way it's going to be. You know, like I said, this next year is going to be a lot of ass whooping.
How many times do you want to fight next year? I mean, you want to get 4 fights in, or you wants to fight twice? Like, how many do you want to fight?
I would like to fight 5 times, 5 to 6 times next year, because 2014 was not a busy year for me. But yeah, maybe 5 to 6 times next year. Yeah,
2014 you'll have 2 fights. One fight. You'll have 1 fight in 2014, because this fight's not till January of 2015. So you only have 1 fight and then had a major injury, you know, with a rib. You know, everybody's never had a rib injury. We tell you, you know, what's the big deal? Like, how come you come back in a week? But everybody that's ever had a rib injury understands it's like 8 weeks of agony. Like, you can't do anything. And every time you try to twist to punch, it grinds over itself. And ribs are the worst things that hurt.
Those first 3 months were very hard. I mean, I was still training, but it was really, really hard because it was hard to sleep. But then it went away, so everything's 100% now.
How's your weight right now? I mean, we're like over a month out, but still, is your weight right on track? And how much do you walk around at right when you start training camp?
I started this training camp at 71.
Okay.
Right now I'm 63, 64. So
okay.
I'm very good. I like to keep 20 pounds when I'm in the camp, so I don't want to drop too fast. But the weight is good.
What are you gonna walk around at the week before before you start taking water out of your system? Like, what's your weight gonna finally get down to?
It'll probably be 160, 158.
Okay. Yeah, which is about right for a seasoned vet like yourself. You know how to cut weight, you know how to rehydrate. It makes it easy. Now, there's been a lot of talk lately. I don't know how much of the news you're actually catching, but there's all talk about weight cutting and paying all these nutritionists thousands and thousands of dollars to get your weight down and help you cut weight and all this other stuff. And then I'm watching these mainstream big name fighters fall apart in title fights, fall apart 4th, 5th round. And you can tell that's from cutting weight. It's from not rehydrating, not recovering enough, that kind of thing. Do you buy into that? Are you a guy that pays a bunch of money to nutritionists as well to get your weight down? Are you a guy that's old school, hard work?
You know what, Frank? I do a lot of research on like what to eat, what's good for my body, what's not. But I think nutrition. I had few people help me in the past, not with the whole camp, but I just asked them advice. But at the end of the day, what's works for my body? You know, I could do something that doesn't work for another fighter that works for me better. So I think at the end of the day, you gotta, like, if you're a fighter that wants a nutritionist, go ahead and get it. But to me, I think it all comes down to discipline. I mean, 8-week camp, you gotta be really strict with your what do you eat, what you put in your mouth. So if you're gonna have a nutritionist just call you every day and tell you what to eat and that, then I don't know. I don't look at it as serious. But I mean, if you have the money, go ahead and do that. But I'm good where I'm at, and I have no nutritionist.
You know, I've tried the blood type diet, which is to eat off of what type of blood type you have. I've tried the paleo diet. I've tried, you know, being a vegetarian. I've tried, you know, every diet fad that's basically out there for athletes. I've done it one way or another. You know, and what it all comes down to is that a bunch of fruit and vegetables, watch your carb load, and make sure that I eat more meat than I drink. So I'm not drinking protein shakes to get my protein in, but I'm eating meat to actually get it in. And that for me is what worked. But for the guy sitting next to me, that totally different. It has to be, you know, if I'm sitting next to one of the Diaz brothers, they're like, vegan, that's it, vegan, that's all I can do. And it's just, everybody's different. And I like the way you approach it, where it's like, this is what works for me, this is how I have success, and if, you know, the guy next to me is not going to be able to do the same thing. That's just how it is.
Yeah, you know, if I train really, really hard, I have one beer, I have one Corona. Yeah. I mean, if you tell that to a fighter, oh man, you just had a Corona, what are you thinking about? I mean, one Corona is not going to hurt you, you know, it's not like something like that. But I just started brewing my own kombucha too, so that's what makes it really good. So
that's tough during training camp, making your own brew. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, Joey, thanks for coming on here, man. Have fun with Bubba. It's gonna be a great fight. Hopefully, I can get down there for that one. It's not too far away from me either here in Las Vegas, so hopefully, I can get down for that one and watch you fight live.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for always having me on your thing and interviewing me.
You're worth it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, man. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you, bro.